So you're pondering on what SUV should you buy in this market today? Well, you might not need to look any further than this compact cutlet right out here, the 2020 Hyundai Creta. Open sunroof.
Opening the sunroof.
Air quality index details coming out here. Ventilated seats. When you just simply toggle that on either side. Comfort's blue, Eco is green, Sport is red. Lie down here if you wish to. Door down this way. My steering is heavy. Oh, this is good. Needless to say, Hyundai has been very brave with the overall design language on the Creta. I mean, if you ever wanted daytime running lights on your car, then Hyundai have taken that DRL game to a whole nother level. They've split these apart into 3 bits, like your eyelashes that have been cut out. You've got a trio cluster of your LED headlamps that have been squished into the corner here. You've also got a tiny hexagonal effect that's running along the DRLs inside the headlamp cluster. My fog lamps have been paired with my turn indicators. My turn indicators, can you imagine them being that low right here? I've also got a realistic air intake out here, which is open on the backside too. Aerodynamics as well has been looked after right here. The grille out here is massive, isn't it? A chrome garnish on the top, a cascading effect that totally screams out one thing: Lexus. I've got a meaty skid plate down here that really fits in on the chin so that you could ride over any kind of gravel without having to worry about any damn scratches on the car. On my hood, I have a couple of lines on either corner right there that are enclosing these 2 lines in the middle. It's a little bit tame looking, not that aggressive, but it's a clean look. The fenders on the side remind you of a Lamborghini Urus. Drop straight down into the wheels. 17 inches alloys. The tires are 215/60 R17s. 215, I would definitely prefer a little bit more width. As you can see, these are not that wide. The wider the tires, the better it looks, in fact. But fine, that's another day's story. Speaking of the suspension on this vehicle, the front suspension is a McPherson strut coil spring, and the rear suspension is a coupled torsion beam axle. So you could definitely feel pretty much sturdy when you roll over any bumps due to the quality of this suspension right here. And this particular model even gets roof rails, and of course a dual tone for the upper portion and the lower. And I also have a shoulder line that runs strongly and then drops down here midway. And I have another little bit of an indented design at the bottom of the doors here. Look at these tail lamps. They're just simply replicated of those DRLs at the front, aren't they? The same 3 split design continues, and the tail lamps have been clustered right in the corner there. My reverse indicator, just like my turn indicator at the front, is right down here. Parking sensors make their way there. Another skid plate at the back, so you could definitely rummage across any kind of gravel road and you'll be good. My Creta badging is just simply spaced out here in wide and loud ways. It says CRETA. I've got my brake lamp right in the center here. My wiper finishes up that portion, and you have the roof slides down with this glass at the back. It's quite a cubby design, and if you actually take a look from the back of it, you'll notice it kind of does remind you of the Q3 as well in a way. The reverse camera right there. The exhausts actually look aftermarket fitted. Dual tip out here that is in fact real completely. So Hyundai aren't joking about anything here, are they? Inside the boot of the Creta, I've got 433 liters of space out there. What's hatched in here is a full-size spare wheel. No compromising on that size. My jack and everything has just been stacked down there. On this side, I have my Bose subwoofer, that premium 8-speaker sound system in this car. The rear seats are foldable in the 60-40 split. I've also got a tiny little light out there that'll help me check out things in the dark. A little bit of a hatch out here. A little bit of a hook to hook up some stuff on that corner. And down here as well, a little bit of storage space. Now there's no real button to put this boot down. You've got to just tug it down with that hand holder there. Now underneath the hood of the Creta, I've got no hydraulic strut to hold this up, so I'm going to have to put that stick there in position. And that right there is a 1.4 litre turbocharged GDI petrol engine. Makes 140 PS, 242 Newton meters of torque. It might not be the most powerful engine, but I'm pretty sure it'll easily carry the weight of this car and give you a good peppy drive. Insulation elements on top out there in the bonnet. Insulation bits at the back end of the engine bay there too. Neat design. Your air intake for a little bit of a chunky hose pipe that runs into the engine. And that's about that. Now before we get inside the Creta, I want you to take a look at this key. It's kind of fancy, pretty much better than some of the bland ones these days. A lock unlock, a boot opening, as well as a honk button out there. Cluster looks good. You also got a key that is hidden inside there. This is a totally keyless car, but that's given just in case you need it. Let's get into this car. I've got a nice scuff plate, aluminized. Power driver seat, red stitching. Can't wait to dive in and see if it's comfortable. Whoa, this is really comfortable. I'm so well enclosed and padded up on all sides. Seats holding me in position good, and the materials in here are just exuding class. I mean, is this really a Hyundai? Man, they've just simply gone leaps and bounds over everything I've seen in the past. With their AC vents designed with these jazzy red inserts. The red stitching flowing along the gear lever. I can't quite stop talking about these seats because even the under thigh support is really good. Looking at the side panel out here, a little bit of hard touch plastic material, and it merges into the center dash out here. Yacht-like, that's what I like to term that as, because it just simply merges that side. The driver's cluster up here, it's again a little bit on the harder side of touch. But here on the passenger side, my dash, yeah, it's got a little bit of a carbon fiberish effect, and it even appears like though it's stitched, but it's still hard to touch. In the footwells, it's all hard again. The center console doesn't really shake, it's sturdy. Door panels, a little bit of a leather stitching out here. Speaking of the storage spaces right now, armrests out here. And yeah, it's kind of okay-ish, not the greatest storage, but it's fine. I've got my air purifier's filter storage, I think, out here. I've also got a couple of cup holders down here. And that right there is a magic piece in today's world, isn't it? That is actually a wireless charging pad. So when I just simply leave my phone there, it simply starts to charge. My glove box, yeah, it's kind of okay-ish storage. And it's a cool glove box as well. I've got a tiny storage up here for my door bin down there. A 1 liter bottle would fit in there. My visors up here. There's no vanity mirror, sadly, so no vanity light either. I've got a couple of clickable reading lights up here, as well as a sunglass hatch in there. And right here is my panoramic sunroof. The party piece in this car, isn't it? Huge. And the way it just simply opens up, look at the size of this thing. Beautiful all around. It floods the cabin with light. Right here is a 10.25 inch touchscreen system. Look at the fluidity, it's just brilliant, and I know fluidity is a Hyundai word literally now. So I have amazing options. I've got my air quality index showing right up there, it's pretty good. I've also got my connectivity options, as well as because this car is connected, it's got that Blue Link technology. You can turn on the AC, turn on the ignition, turn on that air purifier, all by the touch of your cell phone or your smartwatch. You got your map out here for the navigation, and panning around it is fairly decent. It's pretty smooth, does the job. Overall, yep, and you even get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, audio, as well as telephony. You got your compass out here, and you can actually edit these home widgets. So you just click menu up there, you can edit those widgets, come out of this, and then get into settings. And right out here, I even have my vehicle options to adjust certain lighting and everything. I've got blue ambient lighting in this car. Get out of there, my 3 widgets out here. It's kind of like the iDrive system in the BMWs today. Got voice recognition as well.
How can I help you?
Turn on the air conditioner.
Turning on air conditioning. How can I help you?
Open sunroof.
Opening the sunroof.
It's even showing my phone is charging out there. So I even have my air quality index details coming out here from the air purifier in this car. And the lock button is actually what lets me control the operation from the back seat. So if I press lock, it's actually now unlocked, and then I can access it from behind, dissipating all of that air that's flowing into it. So I even have different modes to select from now. It's got normal, turbo, and auto. Love the way the screen's laid out. There's no buttons on the side of it. Neat grainy finish along the volume knob. Radio commands right at the bottom there. You've got a thumping 8-speaker Bose surround sound system in this car with a subwoofer, that is. So music is gonna sound crazy good. You can totally have a party in here. Dink your gear lever into reverse, and the reverse parking sensors pair up with the camera to give you dynamic guidelines while you're backing up. The inserts along the AC vents are just glorious, aren't they? Red end up, going with the look of this car. The black interior just simply contrasts it so well, stands out. And I have my air conditioning controls. That controls my fan speed. I can turn my AC on and off with that click. My temperature control is on this side. It's a single zone temperature control system. Down there I've got a 12-volt charging socket, a USB to connect to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and another USB just to charge your phone. Now moving into the center console region, this is my 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. It's got park, reverse, neutral, drive, as well as a sport mode compared to most gears around. This one's a good looker. You even got manual shifting if you want some more thrill. That's my traction control setting, and if I want to move from sand, mud or snow, it also is my drive selector. So if I have 3 driving modes: eco, sport and comfort, by just simply twisting it around, and you got to click it once so that it can actually move from either drive or the traction control settings. Here is my electric parking brake right next to the gear lever. I also have my auto hold button, and yes, a thoroughbred treat in Mumbai city is ventilated seats. So when you just simply toggle that on either side, you can set what level of air conditioning that is you want from your seats. Cooling speed shows up right there, and you're not going to be sweating at all. The view button helps you get better angles when you're reversing. The steering wheel is just simply a decorative ornament in here, and you just want to get your hands on it. I mean, the steering has these lovely inserts out here, these D-cuts. Makes it look so damn sporty. I've got my media control buttons on my left hand side, and I've got the buttons that are going to be controlling my 7-inch digital instrument cluster there for the driver. I also have my cruise control settings on this side. At the back of the steering wheel now I have my paddle shifters, and my turn indicators on this side, my wiper indicators on that side. Press that push start button, and that's that digital instrument cluster lighting up. My RPM meters on the left side. I got my fuel and my coolant temperature on the right. I've got my traction control settings right here. So for instance, if I click that, I can run from snow, mud and sand, whatever I want to do. Click that again, then I can move through my drive modes. Either it's comfort or it's eco. Now, comfort's blue, eco is green, sport is red, and so it lights up beautifully. These are some excellent touches by Hyundai. It just simply adds to another grade of driver engagement, and it just shows that they have concentrated the car to the driver's pleasure. And if I want to move from my driver information, I can just simply flick this up here on the steering wheel. Click this button. I got my compass here. I've got my tire pressure monitor, figure out how much of pressure is in each of my tires. So my steering wheel, it has a rake command, but I cannot reach because I can't pull it towards myself. It's only raking up and down, that is. The entire design of this steering wheel, it's got this leather stitching with the stitching in red threads out there, flat bottom, sporty as ever, aluminum brake and accelerator pedals at the bottom, engine start stop button on this side, my traction control on and off switch on that side. There you go. A beam level for the headlamps out here. Up there on the dash is my Bose sound system. It continues in the center right there. Overall, it is a fun packed car. I've got my SOS button right out here on my auto dimming mirror. If I click that button, it will call up the roadside assistance. And then I have my Blue Link connectivity switch right out there. In the back seat of the Creta, a little aluminized cuff plate at the back too there. Jumping right in. And yup, it is comfortable. The back seat, it sits upright a little bit. I've even got these cushions out here at the back up to get my neck comfortable while I'm seated here. I've got my favorite part in any back seat, sunshades are welcome here as always. Come up nice and handy. Plastics here at the back, they're hard, they're pretty much hard. I've got my Bose surround sound system speaker coming here as well. It's literally sprawling for most of the door panel size. Just simply shows how good this is going to sound when you're listening to it. My door bin out here, it's pretty petite. Yeah, you can imagine that size of an umbrella or a bottle would be the only thing that'll fit in there. Besides that, I've got my window controls. Yeah, it's more hard stuff here at the back. I've got a little bit of storage at the back of the seat. The AC vents, these red inserts, really cute and nice. No temperature control whatsoever. Got a charging USB port out there. And that thing is my air purifier. Now if I want to look into it, I've got to actually lean forward that way to check out what is the air quality index it's showing me. So I think in the Seltos, it's actually down here, so it's a little bit more clear and comfortable to look at. Other than that, on the thigh support is pretty decent. Leg room, seat set in my position, I'm 5'10", and it's pretty good. You can definitely travel long distances comfortably. Now speaking of 3 at the back, I think you could do that, but there's no real headrest out there, so clearly Hyundai doesn't want you to do that on a long distance. But if you're moving around in the city, I'm sure you could definitely carry a third passenger in here without much trouble. Got my roof handle out here. I've also got a light in there, the reading light. The switch is right out there in the corner. Of course, with the panoramic sunroof, you can't have it up there. Drop this down, that center armrest, and I've got a couple of cup holders. Can't access the boot or anything. It's overall a pleasant place to be. The window panes on this side as well are large enough, keeps the cabin airy, brings in a good amount of light. Of course, the biggest light source out here is that panoramic sunroof on top of us. So you're never going to be feeling dark and dingy out here in this back seat. And the rear seats can't be reclined for your pleasure, but they can be reclined if you want more storage room. And they will do so in the 60-40 split. That goes down that way, and the other one is going to be from that side. So I'll drop this one from here too. Comfortable slide down, and yeah, you can actually have a hell lot of storage. You could probably even lie down here if you wish to. So all ready to move off. Take that gear lever in a D. And I'm in eco mode right now, so we should see a fairly less responsive driving performance, because eco is all about getting those mileage figures out there. And so if you want to move like this in the city, I'm sure it might just be the best way to go ahead. The steering's light, turning radius is short, so you can take some swift turns, not really needing to worry about any of the size aspects. A-pillows are narrow, got no real blind spots out here. Large big mirrors, can see everything right till the back end clearly. Rear glass is kind of alright, yeah. It's not that big, but it's still fine. Visibility is all around good. But I'm seated high above the road and can actually see everything on the corners ahead. My bonnet's not obstructing any view. But I'm seated high and I'm getting that SUV feeling, which is what people would buy this car for, and it's delivering that. The steering's light, and as you can see, my gear shifts are happening really quick with this dual clutch gearbox right now because I'm in eco. Barely up to 2000 RPM, and I'm already in the third gear right here right now. Bump handling so far is all right. No real noise coming into the cabin, and you can feel it's very well insulated. The engine's quiet as well, but it has a little bit of a roaring now, and that sound is even audible in eco. The suspension's perspective, like I told you, we have the McPherson strut sitting on the front out here. Power is now delivered to the front wheels in this car. It's a front wheel drive. Alright, so now in comfort mode, as you can see, I'm going up to 3000 RPM before it actually begins to shift the gear. Probably if you want to just simply zip around traffic in the city, you don't even need to go in a sport. You can just simply move around amicably in comfort. So what are we waiting for now? Is that real thrill to see what the Creta can do by dipping it into the sport mode where everything revs up in the driver's cluster here. And it's got a lot of punch right now. You can feel it. It has absolutely a hell lot of punch. The tires are just simply gripping the road. So when you floor it down this way, my steering is heavy. Oh, this is good. This is some feedback, and I mean, it was never there in the previous Creta, and it's here right now, and I think this is going to stay for a while. You floor it down this way, it goes. So you can take off and have some good fun with this car if you want to. Weighted up steering wheel and stuff. And so yeah, sport mode gets the green check from me. It holds revs almost till 6000 RPM right there. And the braking as well is good. One thing is, the moment you floor your foot on that accelerator pedal, the steering keeps gaining weight. And that's what's really helping it stay so sturdy. You feel stable even at high speeds. Zipping around traffic is comfortable. Cutting ahead of them at any damn point, you can overtake at your wish. Pushing it into corners though, yeah, you may want to go a little bit light on that. That's about it. If you take a look at the traction modes now, when we move it in a sand, it's all about that bits of off-road excitement, and they've really added those things. And it just simply changed the responsiveness of the car and the stability controls. Some drive, isn't it? The Creta is the real deal. It's quite a car. It packs the punch. In terms of tech, it leads the bunch. That's what the Creta is. You can't really point a finger on it at any other department. I mean, Hyundai have done a fantastic job with the way this car is. It lays everything to the ground and makes you feel like, yeah, if you want an SUV in the city that you want to drive off, on-road, off-road, whatever it is, and in comfort, this is your answer for that. I think Hyundai do deserve the tip of the hat for this phenomenal job that they've done. They've been brave to bring something out like this. The design might not be up to everyone's taste, but it is so futuristic. I can tell you it's one that's going to last even 10 years down the line. You take a look at this and probably be like, yeah, That's a car that's not that old. Anyhow, the Creta gets a thumbs up from me. And if you want to watch more drives like this, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of the channel. I'm Raspreet Gill, and I'll see you for the next one.